It's me a great pleasure as I get to catch up with our good friend Tom Strafford from Oggy, marketing coordinator from Oggy Wales, bringing real fibre broadband to Wales. And we're talking more digital, fabulous, cool, quirky news and even music festivals as hugely influenced now digitally. Tom, great to have you with us again this week for Oggy's Digital Download.
Hello, Toby. Hello, everyone. Yeah, it's great to be back here. Thanks for having me again. First one must have gone all right then.
It was brilliant, mate. It was fantastic to get a download, and lots of people getting in touch with us as well, which is fantastic. And we'll kick off with Mike. Great question, this actually. He says, "I've heard lots about super fast, ultra fast, full fiber. What's the difference? Is it just different terminology to sell, or can you just sort of put that one to bed for us, Tom?"
I can. Well, I asked our in-house team to explain this, and I got a very, very long description of the differences, but I'll put it into some key bullet points for everyone. So ultra fast and full fiber are the terms used when your broadband is over 100 megabits per second or higher. So these services are generally fiber optic right to your door. So that's why Oggy is a full fiber broadband provider, because our speeds start at a minimum of 150. So most providers in Pembrokeshire use what's called part fiber or super fiber broadband. So that means that there is fiber, but it goes to the cabinet, the green boxes on your street, and then to your home or your place of work. They go through all copper wire systems. So that final mile, as it's called, it slows the speeds down dramatically. It goes from 150s to 24s to 100s. So in fact, ultra fast or full fiber is the next generation on. So it's helping us build networks that can serve anyone for now and the future demands of tech, as we will discuss later on how much more demand there'll be on that infrastructure. And it's also a greener alternative to the other ones. So but if you want to know more, on our website now, there is a really handy graphic that explains to you what the difference is between them. It's a lot easier to visually see it than it is for me to explain in person. So Oggy.Wales, it's on there.
Fab, make sure you check it out. And I guess that final mile is what it's all about, really. Because I had no idea that you potentially could lose, so much bandwidth during that period. That's a real lesson.
Yeah, no, it's all in that. It's all in that final mile is when you get the speeds that you want. So when you do get your new broadband provider and they use the word fiber, make sure you ask about full fiber, because that is then the speed that you will want. You will talk about the 150s instead of the 50s. So you need, when you talk about that, say full fiber. It's important to get the best internet.
Yeah, and as you said, Tom, for more information, head over to Oggy.Wales now for all the information. So here on Digital Download, we love to sort of answer your questions. We like to give you some information about really how, I guess, Oggy will improve your life and what it's all about for you. And streaming, huge part of everybody's daily lives now, probably without even realizing it, Tom. If you're a big gamer, of course, naturally, you're going to probably be a little bit more au fait with streaming. But even your Netflix, your Amazon Primes, all require streaming.
Yeah, all of them. And that's why when we talk about the internet that we provide and how important it is, because especially like streaming, it's become so common in all of our lives now. And the role that technology now has to play in building the connections at these events to make them bigger and better for us, because our demands are so much better. So this is what this week's topic is going to be about. It's about how really that technology now connects us with the events that we go to, the people, our communities. And it's one of the things that I love doing with Oggy, because that's one of our main focuses, is that how do we connect, not just through broadband, but through real connections as well. So that's why I want to discuss basically it's Glastonbury, because technology played such a huge part in this year's event. And I think it's such an interesting way to then talk about what the future of these events might look like and the tech influences that we have on it. And if we've got time at the end, I would also like to highlight a really good feel-good story that I found about streaming and how it impacts people's lives, but we might not have time to.
Hey, we'll make some time. We'll make some time, Tom. Don't you worry. We got to share the feel-good stories.
Of course we do. And also we just want to highlight as well that at Glastonbury this last weekend, Nia Wynn, who's a Welsh artist who was at our housewarmings, was performing, and she was absolutely amazing. So I highly recommend listening out for her, watch out for her. She had a song on FIFA, but she's more than that. She's got great songs coming out, and we got to sample some of them at some of our housewarmings last week, because we opened up all of our offers officially. We have one in, the one in St. Clair's had the opening last week, Newport, Tonavellin, and most importantly, and where I am right now, is our Tiogi Hodge House headquarters. So we wanted to highlight that and just, Nia Wynn.
Fantastic. So, in regards to Glastonbury, then you mentioned that, Tom. How did tech play a big part in the festival this year, then?
Well, I mean, did you watch it to begin with? Did you see the actual shows? It was amazing. I thought Paul McCartney, Billie Eilish, I thought they were all absolutely
Kendrick Lamar as well. I mean, the production is always second to none. It really is.
It really is. I've got some numbers in front of me to put Glastonbury in context. But so this year it was streamed 34 million times on iPlayer. 23 million of that was live.
Wow.
And 20,000 people were actually in the festival, at the actual show. And to put that number in perspective, 125,000 people live in Pembrokeshire. So in this small field, so if you think about it, the amount of information that was needed on that day, 182 terabytes of data was used on the 5 days. And that's 76% more than it was in 2019. Wow. And 1 terabyte, I need to get my decimal places right now. 1 terabyte is 1 million megabytes. So when we talk about 150 megabytes as our lowest rate we can offer, 182 terabytes is, a million times that in those 5 days event.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And if you want to know, you put it in perspective, 182 terabytes is downloading Hey Jude 5.4 million times.
I love that, Tom. I love it. Definitely done your homework for this week, my man. Great to see. I mean, to put into context as well, some local festivals in Wales are 20,000 people. Mm-hmm. So that's the equivalent of, a festival watching a festival. I mean, it's a huge amount of data. Yeah. I guess that begs the question, what is the future of these sort of events when if you can't get there for whatever reason, or you can't get tickets, you're on the other side of the world, you've got a disability issue, you can still enjoy it in real time in the comfort of your own home, thanks to Oggy, thanks to providers enabling us to do that.
Well, it's the we don't know what the future of the tech side of this will look like. At Oggy, we are constantly innovating what we can actually do at events. So we just powered up the broadband for the Erith Urban Games 2 weekends ago, and we were able to get speeds for people of around 700 megabits per second at this one event. And now 1,000 people could have the chance of having the fastest Wi-Fi they've ever had. These speeds and this accessibility and consistency of networks is now a real factor that we can provide people. So what that can enable us to do is, as you said, we could stream stuff now as if we were, and we could place ourselves within the crowd. So the reason I love festivals and even like rugby games and stuff now is because technology is so good that you can get the real feelings and that connections and all of that things like you're at the game or like you're at the festival. Like I felt it when Bruce Springsteen and Dave Grohl came on with Paul McCartney, and I feel it when the Welsh anthem comes on, and that's all down to the fact that we have now technical capabilities. Now in the past we could never experience that to that level, and that's we take that for granted, but that's a massive technical innovation really. And it's been pushed, and it's pushed by the technology that we are at Oggy. We are constantly making better, and they're just going to get better. So we could look at in the future. I mean, silent discos are a thing, with the headphones in. But could we see, VR headsets disco now? Could we see, we've seen the avatars, where ABBA have the old stuff. Are they going to become a feature for everyone? Are they going to be more popular? Michael Jackson, Tupac have come back to life in hologram forms. Are we going to see more of them? We just don't know. And it will never replace the true feeling of being at the event, because that connection is impossible to replicate. But I think it's so fascinating to think about what the future could look like with tech and at these events.
As you say, Tom, I mean, when you hear the Welsh national anthem, it resonates. You know, it really does, because it's meaningful, it's patriotic. It means a huge deal to us. And if you're watching one of your favorite artists, and as you say, you've got the experience of you're wearing your headphones, you can hear every dulcet tone, you can hear every snare, every guitar string, and you've got that visually around you with, as you say, a VR headset. To enable that to happen, it needs a huge amount of data, doesn't it? But I guess what you're saying is having these super fiber broadband connections through Augie will potentially enable that, if that's what the future holds for live concerts being streamed into the houses.
I mean, not super, ultra. Has to always be ultra fiber to be able to do this stuff now. It's ultra fiber is the only infrastructure that could be able to do this. It's just impossible on the old networks. Like the amount of information you're going to need.
It's colossal, isn't it? I mean, as you've explained, sort of through the Glastonbury experience. I mean, just to give us an idea of the capabilities of Ultra. You know, what could it download in the sense of a Glastonbury Billie Eilish concert? So say it's about an hour. I mean, that would take hours and hours, wouldn't it, on sort of fiber or super? But Ultra, you're talking a matter of minutes, really.
Yeah, absolutely. We are absolutely talking about minutes. And on Augie 900, you know, I would guess it would take you more time to listen to her song than to download her full concert.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. It's one of the reasons why I think it would be really interesting for this show to have a discussion with one of our heads of tech, because they can explain it in such a way, and the scale of it. I've worked at Augie for 3 months now. I think it's my 3-month anniversary is coming up on Monday, and I still really can't grasp the scope of it.
Yeah.
Because and the reliability, but the speeds and the consistency and what that can mean for future events is just because, you know, I mean,
and you've hit the nail on the head there, Tom. I think this is what it's all about. It's about the future, isn't it? I mean, you know, we're certainly not going to go backwards in technology. You know, when have we ever done that in the history of mankind? You know, it's the only way it is going. And I guess this is really future-proofing these new innovations, whether it be through concerts, through streaming. I mean, even the new Sky Glass, chatting to the Sky engineer at my house the other week, he said, look, you know, now Sky is adapting to use all these different partners and apps within it. So the future of Sky, as things sit at the moment, would be if you were to watch a program, you wouldn't have to go into the Netflix app and it would download it. You would just tell your Skybox to play Stranger Things, for example. It will automatically stream it through Netflix and it'll be on the screen. So, I mean, it's a very interesting future. And it's great to see Augie supporting this, because ultimately, without a fast internet connection, without these ultra speeds, it ain't going anywhere, is it?
No, it ain't. And communities will get left behind if they don't. It's and that's the reality of not having fast internet in the modern world. That, you know, we're 20 megabits just isn't fast enough. I mean, you know, the demands on when you go to events and stuff, Toby, is probably has increased dramatically in the last few years. It's the same for every community. It's the same for businesses. The same for households. And not having the infrastructure in place just means that, you know, you won't be able to really thrive in the new digital world, because it is just, as you just said, it is going to get more and more digital inclined for everyone. So you've got to get that ultra fast fiber broadband.
And this weekend, then, it's all about the Milford Haven Carnival. Augie are powering Pure West Radio at the event. We are super stoked. We've got Amanda and the Amps, Tough Love, and also star of The Voice UK, mentored by Sir Tom James's first post-pandemic gig in Pembrokeshire, welcoming Ragsy back onto our main stage in association with EPS, powered by Augie. Cannot wait for this. It's going to be a brilliant day. Funny enough, actually, Tom, I had Richard on my show, the chairman of the Milford Haven Round Table.
Yeah, Rich.
Top bloke. He was only with us an hour ago, telling us all about it. It's looking to be a fantastic weekend and a staple for Augie to be at.
Great. Yeah, really looking forward to that one. Yeah, we'll see you there. And also, if you're in Haverfordwest, Martin's going to a youth centre, the Picton Centre. So if you're around there, go speak to Martin and get some merch. Oggy Foam Fingers, I think, are going to be around as well. So, you know.
Days. We all have some freebies. So after any Oggy freebies this weekend, head over to the Picton Centre in Haverfordwest and also get yourself along to Milford Haven Carnival. All kicks off there at 1 o'clock, Waterloo Square. Our main stage will be at Macroquay Entertainment on there from 2 o'clock. It is going to be fantastic. Really looking forward to it. Always a pleasure catching up, Tom. Thanks for joining us for this week's digital download. More information, everything you need is online at oggy.wales. Please get in touch for your questions at Pure West Radio. And of course, you can comment on any of the socials on YouTube, Facebook or Twitter. And we'll put your questions to Tom as we're back for digital download next Thursday, 11:15 right here on Pure West. Have a great week and we'll see you at the Milford Carnival on Saturday, buddy.
Thank you, mate. I'll speak to you soon. Take